In a matter of weeks, we've gone from getting our first Humvee into the shop, creating a custom truck for our customers, to designing and mass producing a catalog of products so others who buy Humvees can build their own project vehicles. We're doing great, but then Bob comes along with this great idea.
We need to go to SEMA.
An idea that put us in a total tailspin. We're going to dismantle, design, and reassemble a Humvee in 6 weeks? One week till SEMA and I'm still making doors. Oh yeah. So today's the day we're getting the truck back from paint. I don't even know what color it is. When they went over to paint it, he started painting it. The painter noticed that the body wasn't prepped all the way. They still had some overspray from the texture. And they had to go in and do a bunch of body work at the last minute before they could paint. So I had a bunch of speckles in it. I don't mind colors, I just hope it doesn't come back gray.
It turned out nice. I'm excited to get it back to the shop and get this thing put together.
Doesn't look too bad from here.
Well, there she is.
Oh, great, it's gray.
All one color.
Well, the Humvee's definitely more wrinkly.
Yeah, you had seen it before. We had overspray on some places that we had to touch up during paint, so some last minute stuff. I like that color.
It'll do. Considering how fast we prepped this vehicle for paint, I think it came out pretty good. This gives us a great base to show off all of our new products. So who's going to be the first one to scratch it?
Yeah, let's give somebody in ring blame.
Right now, I'm blaming Wuss.
All right, let's get her unloaded.
Tell me what your plan is, so I can follow it.
Well, you were gonna get some sound deadener stuff.
I got sound deadener
What
stuff.
is that?
Where do you want it sprayed at?
Is that a fabric or what is it?
It's a spray on.
Spray on?
So we got a loud truck and we need to put sound deadener anywhere we can.
Spray anywhere you feel like you can put it on. I'm just saying, but we did paint the whole inside as far as this stuff.
Cool, so I can put deadener everywhere. Is there any place you don't want sound deadener?
I can't think of anything right now.
So we can spray the inside. Good to go, we can spray it all and make it nice and quiet.
If you want to do that way, yeah, sure.
All right, so we'll start with spraying the inside and then we gotta do the underside too.
That's what we were thinking, is spray up the whole center, lift it.
Well, anything that's going to be exposed, you know, outside of the carpeting and stuff, you can't paint that.
You did just hear him say we could spray it all, right?
Spray anywhere you feel like you can put it on.
Ay, ay, ay.
Spray anywhere you feel like you can put it on.
So confused.
I mean, for example, if my carpeting's going to stop back here, you can't.
That's why I'm asking what
Same thing up in here.
I get that we don't want to see sound deadener, so I need to know where the carpet goes.
Well, you're going to do the floor, you're going to do all this stuff here, you're going to do the tops. I just don't know about places like in here where it's going to look covered up with carpeting or not. Let's see what your sound deadener looks like, all right?
So we go ahead and decide just to spray the whole underside of the truck and move forward. Much easier.
Well, the guys finished spraying the sound deadener on the doors. It's time to put them together. I still love fabricating. I sure wish that youth would get involved with this kind of stuff. You know, ever since I've been in this industry, which was back in the mid-'60s, there's been a shortage of skilled people in this industry. Every place I've ever worked was having a hard time filling those jobs. And it was interesting to watch, after all these years, nothing's changed. In fact, it's probably even worse. Finding people that are skilled enough to do this kind of work. It's kind of interesting to watch the evolution of this industry go to China and then come back from China. And there's still lots of jobs. They're higher tech now because now they're using the computers. So now those openings are actually going to be more computerized stuff.
And as you can see, I mean, I got the window in there. I can move the window up and down so you can see that everything fits.
So the technology has really grown. So it's really nice to see that a lot of the things we used to do by hand are now being done with a computer-aided machine. So those openings are still there, but I think the skill requirements are more leaning towards young guys that might know more about computers. It's just unbelievable the stuff that's available now. I mean, that laser over there, you know, the only thing you have to know is how to run a computer, and the machine does the rest of the work, whereas the first laser I bought, you had to be a rocket scientist to run the machine, so it was ridiculous. So technology is improving to the point that learning the machine is a lot easier and you can actually get more done, more productive. But you still need those people. Whenever I get the chance, I try to expand my employees' minds and let them try new things.
Is Dale taking you right now?
At the moment, he was.
At the moment?
So today I'm pulling Jacob out the laser and having him help me with these doors.
Are you done with Jacob?
Am I done with him? I haven't started with him.
Oh, okay.
How can I be done with him?
What do you need?
Help. He's gonna help me with these.
Okay.
He's gonna clean the other one up. So there's another one that's...
One thing Dale's always done is make sure guys learn new things all the time.
It's important to give my guys plenty of opportunities in doing different things. Guys like Jacob, I'd like them to learn how to do everything in the shop. These doors have a lot of parts. There's a lot of engineering involved.
So,
You ready for the next one? Is that what you're ready for?
well, I'm ready to know, how does this go in here?
No, that doesn't go there. It goes across the other side. Right.
Goes in the middle. Have you ever built a door? There's lots of parts.
That's the only thing that the other door is missing, is those two rails.
The other door doesn't have these in
The other
it?
half of that door, the only thing that's missing is those two rails. Like right here,
Uh-huh.
I am missing these two rails right here, which is what's going to be on your piece. Does that make sense?
Sure, I guess.
So one of these is going to set like this, which is attached to the inner skin,
Got ya.
and your other one, which is what you have in your hand, is going to sit right here, so it's going to hold the wiper for the glass to go in between, but this is actually attached to that.
Got you.
You know, if people would just take the time to teach these youth, we'd have so many more skilled workers in this world.
Piece of cake. I'm just cruising along, and then I hit a wall. Getting the feeling something's missing, but I don't know.
Oh no!
I don't.
I got some extra parts!
Well, I don't have extra parts. I just have extra holes.
You just have that patience.
I got a hole, and I assume it needs to be filled, right?
Sometimes a lot of patience. Yeah, this one has to go together the same way as you did the other one. The inner skin has to have these two pieces riveted on.
Oh, so this is, I gotcha. I thought you had done the other
I
side.
didn't do the inner skins, I was doing the outer skin.
No, well.
You didn't rivet anything, did you?
Oh, yeah. I pretty much riveted everything. Oh boy.
That's this right here. So we could actually glue the little rubber thing onto this, and then just take this thing here
And flop it in there.
and stick it in like this with the rubber thing in place and finagle it up inside there. But you've only got a couple rivets or one rivet or what?
I've got maybe 3.
There's lots of solutions, so don't get discouraged.
I got you.
So go ahead and drill those out.
Yeah, I've only got a
And
couple.
then make sure you get all the pieces of rivets. You have some hinges I can put on this thing? Test fit it?
They went to paint, but I think Frank's got some extras. Let me go see what Frank's got. One door is all I need.
Left side or right side?
It depends on which door he has over there. Frank's working on hinges.
You're making some more of
Yeah, we're making some more. We just hit go and it makes them. So he's hitting go right now. We got hinges. We've got hinges. This one goes here. We got a door. This is the moment of truth.
See how well this thing fits.
Or doesn't fit.
I'll watch the top hinge, you watch the bottom.
Voila, it's like magic.
Doors fit and it looks great. Time to finish some internal components and get this thing out to paint. One of the upgrades we did with this was to put a Duramax engine in it. It's a tight fit, but it gives it a lot of horsepower. It was a little tight on the firewall, so we made a bigger doghouse.
You want to come see what you think about this doghouse thing you guys designed up right over here?
Sure.
So this doghouse will bring the firewall farther into the cab, leaving us more room for our exhaust system. We're just going to test fit it on another truck to make sure it fits. There you go.
That gets in the way of the shifter.
Yeah.
Have to move the shifter over.
A sharp edge going across the top of that lip. You're going to have to do something about that too.
That's all gonna be carpeted.
Oh, you're going to carpet that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna carpet the whole thing.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll probably put a molding or something across the top or something to that effect. So I was noticing the fact that that's where it has to be as far as that pipe that was on the Duramax. So.
We'll just have to play around with the shifter or something.
Yeah, we'll have to shift everything, shift it this way.
So you're fine with that? You want me to finish welding out? Because it's just tacked right now.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
You bet.
See this? That's a sure sign of a leaky portal box. When we come back, Dale and I are going to tear it apart and show you how it works. Before we go to SEMA, we've got to rebuild 4 portal boxes.
And we want to be able to show off our new cover plate that we've designed for that.
So we thought we'd do it in a how-to show.
Can't be that hard. I'm Dale,
And I'm Bob
and we're here to rebuild a portal box on a Humvee.
with the Dale and Bob how-to show. So how do you think we're doing?
I think we're doing good enough. If you take a look here, you'll see the oil leaking down the side of the tire on this Humvee. And you can see where it's been leaking here. And if you see that on your Humvee, you've got a problem. And you need to do what we're gonna do today to show you how to do this. So here we go.
So where in the world are you looking?
I have no clue. Okay, here we have a portal box that's on every Humvee or Hummer. And it is a gear reduction system. It is a high clearance gizmo, and it's really heavy because I had one fall between my toes and I thought I was going to lose my toes.
I got to put these on because I have to see patients at 1 o'clock. They don't appreciate grease in their mouth.
This is the
Drive shaft. CV shaft.
There you go, half shaft, whatever you want to call it.
This is a half
It's not a
CV drive shaft, folks.
Exactly.
I think I just invented a new part. On a normal 4-wheel drive or any unit, whichever wheel drives the car, this axle lines up directly with this bottom hub, which is where the tire mounts. So in a normal application, if the drive line from the car is up here, or the universal joint would be pointed up like that. But in a portal box, it does 2 things. One thing that it does is it moves this bottom mounting point up. And by doing that, it straightens out these CV shafts. So it allows the vehicle to, in essence, have 4 to 5 inches of lift without changing the angles of any of the drive shafts or CV shafts. Did you see what I just did? I just dropped all kinds of information.
And you did a good job.
Yes, I rocked it. The second thing it does,
Gives you a gear reduction. If you look on the inside, you'll see that there's 2 gears. There's a small gear drive gear here and a driven gear, which is a large gear, which goes to your wheel hub that drives the tire. So therefore you get a, what is it, a 1.9?
1.9 something to 1.
to 1, so
Almost
you
2 to 1.
You get a gear reduction through that, so now you'd have less stress on your axle shafts, your drive shaft, your transmission, your engine, although it does reduce your high top speed. So that's the one drawback to the gear reduction, but if you're into four-wheel drive applications, high speed is typically not your concern.
We kind of started out weak, but I think we're starting to get the hang of this.
Well, I'm doing great. First of all, we're going to start taking some components off.
It's the same portal box on all 4 corners of a Humvee. So this little part is what steers it, and on the rear, it's just locked out solid. Go ahead, Dale.
Here we go. Now we take off the cover, we bend the tab off the star washer, and we remove the nut with the special tool that we've made. We're just going to spin this little thing off the easy way. This is backing the nut off.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yep, that's a little trick, isn't it?
It's a good thing we left that ugly ball joint on there.
Yeah, it sure helps.
I always just turn it by hand and it's like takes forever. I'm learning stuff on my own how-to show.
The taper on the nut needs to go down so it matches the star washer. So then you pull off the second washer, which is key to go in a certain direction. And then you pull out the seal.
Is that a technical way to take that off?
It's a really good way to take it off.
I'm pretty sure that there's a special tool to remove that seal, and it probably costs hundreds of dollars.
Yes, but that way works too.
It works, but if we're doing a how-to show, maybe next time we should get the tool. Not the way I take
All
it
the
off.
bolts are still in it.
Ah, the
See
bolts
that
are
was?
still in it.
This is probably our last show.
Yeah, this is our first and last how-to show. The important thing to remember when you're taking off, this is the upper or the axle input side. The important thing to remember about that is that the little shims have to stay put. So we have a bunch of these plastic shims, and that's the way that they come.
Safety man's here.
Oh man, I keep getting in trouble for that. I do know the rules. Okay, now I can't see a thing. What could I possibly get in my eyes? We're doing a how-to show, and this is all fake.
So if you can get the bearing out, great. If you can't, go ahead and just lift this up and it'll help. Just go ahead and lift up a little bit and I'll see if I can grab that bearing. Okay, so here we got the bearing out. This is a tapered bearing. This is considered a low-speed bearing, but it's high side load. It's a rebuildable as far as cleaning it to make sure sand, rust, dirt, water, get all the contaminations out of it before you put it back in. So it's a great bearing.
Okay, the best way to take it apart from here is actually just to lift up the whole housing. If you try to tip it on its side, then parts go everywhere and it's just a mess. So there is a shim in here, but it doesn't come out until we get it off. So you just grab the whole housing, lift it straight up, and that's going to give you that.
There's the other half of the tapered bearing. You have to have opposing tapered bearings when you have tapered.
And then we can start pulling things out. This is the drive gear, the driven gear of the portal box. If you'll notice, this thing is huge. Most gears in a transmission are very narrow, but this thing is just monstrous. And this is what makes the Humvee just such a crazy, ridiculous strong vehicle. And so we can set that aside. We're going to want to clean
Another thing that I like to do when I'm pulling something like that apart, making sure I put it back together the same way, is I'll mark my parts. So let's go ahead and mark this gear showing which is the top. I'm just going to put a little mark in it. That tells us what the top is so that we don't put it in backwards.
Great idea, Dale. Just a little bit more and we'll have it completely taken apart. I can't see because I've got... Good catch, Dale!
Here we go, pair of tapered bearings. Now the outer race is still inside the housing on one end, and then the other race comes out the top this way. But as you can see, there's 2 tapered bearings, and then here we got your spur gear. It's a straight cut gear. They say they're a little bit noisier. I've heard that they're actually a little bit stronger, but you'll see that there's some damage to them where they've been rubbing and maybe galling a little bit inside. Could have been run low on oil. It could have had some contamination inside. It's hard to say at this point. Anyway, so this is what we have, that secondary gear, the drive gear.
All right, so now we have our portal box taken apart. The most common seal that leaks is the one that rides against this, and that's why we get oil coming down on the side of most of the tires. It's on this side of the box.
He has it positioned in the way it would be on the vehicle, okay? So the smaller gear is up on the top, the drive gear. This is the driven on the bottom, and here's where this puppy here slides inside into that, and there's a surface right here that the seal rides on. And if that seal gets damaged, then obviously it's submerged in oil, so that oil is allowed to drip down the side of the portal box, draining the portal box, and then contaminating your tires. You can see in this tire on the back.
Yep. And if you watch a lot of YouTube videos on how-to, like the rest of America and me, then there's a ton of guys that go online and they're like, today we're gonna change the oil in our portal box. And they pull the cover off and there isn't any oil in the portal box. It's because they say if your portal box is not leaking down the side of your tire, it's out of oil.
Probably empty.
That's how you know.
These portal boxes are 30 and 35 years old, so
Yeah.
they're more than likely they're ready to leak.
So here's where the main seal is that leaks. You can go from the backside with a screwdriver, push that out, or push the new seal right in right there, and then it's just time to reassemble this portal box. Putting it back together is just like taking it apart, but in reverse. Ta-da! Check the internet to find out all the torque specs on the bolts that you need to put back in. And that wraps up the Dale and Bob's how-to show. These clean hands are gonna go fix some teeth.
All right, have a good day.
Hi, this is Dale. If you like this video, maybe you could like and subscribe, and even leave a comment if you'd like. Hey, thanks. Have a great day.